I don't know how many of you know a pair of twins, but to those of you who do, know how different they can be. In this week's Parshat, Rivka and Yitzchak have a pair of twins who are as opposite can get. Eisav and Yaakov. We know that Eisav was born red, very hairy, and Yaakov was born not red, with very smooth skin. But more than just their physical looks on the outside, we know that their inside, their very nature was different. The Torah describes Eisav as an ish yodei tzayid, as Rashi explains, a man who knows how to trap, pshat, a hunter. But if you look a little bit deeper, we can understand that he wasn't just someone who traps animals, he also knew how to trap people with his own words. He knew how to deceive a person and get what he wants through his own speech. On the other hand, we see Yaakov, who's described as an ish tam yoshev ahal, a person who likes to sit in a tent. Rashi explains that this tent is known as the tent of Shem Va'ever, the yeshiva. Yaakov was a calm, relaxed person who liked to learn Torah, who liked to be osek b'dvar Hashem. He liked to do things properly. So on the one hand, we have Eisav, who was aggressive by nature, and on the other hand, we have Yaakov, who was calm and relaxed, and who liked to be involved in Torah. If you look later on in the Parsha, in Perek Vav Hei Pasuk Vav Zayin, the Torah says, Vayigdalu ha'ne'arim, the children grew up. Rav Hirsch explains here that the children didn't just grow up, they grew up together. They grew up with the exact same methods. They grew up following the same path. As Rashi explains, these two, Eisav and Yaakov, were brought up so much together that they were unidentifiable, except for their physical looks, obviously, until the age of 13, where everything went sour. The Gemara in Shabbos explains that each person is built with natural tendencies towards certain things. They give an example. If a person is built with a natural tendency towards aggression, we should lead him on the path to be a mohel or a shochi, so that he can channel that inner aggression for something good, for something to be b'dvar Hashem, not necessarily through aggression, through averu. Rav Hirsch was known for criticizing the Alvod HaYimav, and by this pasuk, he doesn't miss a beat. He explains that Rivka and Yitzchak were wrong in their methods of chinuch. He goes so far as to say that if Rivka and Yitzchak understood Eisav and were able to channel his inner aggression into something positive, he would have been a co-partner with Yaakov, and he would have never turned into the evil sinner that he was today. Rivka knew Eisav was different, even before he was born. The Medrash explains, on the pasuk of Vayitzrotzatzu b'kirbo, that they were jumping inside of her, that whenever she would pass by a big Knesset, for example, the yeshiva of Shem Va'ever, Yaakov would try to burst out of the womb. And whenever she would pass by a Beis Avodah Zarah, Eisav would try to burst out of the womb. Hashem tells her that she has two nations inside of her, two completely opposite nations who are going to fight off of each other. She knew that they were different, but nonetheless she went out of her way to try to fit Eisav into that mold of Yaakov. As Rav Hirsch explains, if she tried to work with Eisav with his own individual nature, he might not have become the person who he was. As Shlomo HaMelech tells us in Sefer Mishlei, Chanuch lenaro al pi darko, teach your children based on their own individual needs. I know I have no right to give any parenting advice, but to those parents and teachers who are watching this, make sure to understand your children, make sure to understand your students before you go out and guide them. Know what interests them, know what makes them upset, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, so that you can properly lead them onto the path of their own individual success. And to those of us who are not parents yet, who Mirza Hashem one day will be, but to those of us who are not parents yet and who will be madrichim this summer, make sure to understand your campers. Get to know them. You never know how much of an impact you can really make on somebody's life. Shabbat shalom.